Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series where I rank every episode of the original Twilight Zone from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to be talking about number 60, Valley of the Shadow, written by Charles Beaumont and directed by Perry Lafferty. This is a season 4 hour-long episode, and as always there will be spoilers, so I think Valley of the Shadow is a really good hour-long episode. The plot is interesting and the episode is very well paced. I think the ending could be a little bit stronger and holds this episode back from being an all-time great episode for me, but I still think Valley of the Shadow is kind of a minor classic and is a very strong episode overall. One thing that's very interesting about Valley of the Shadow is there's some very clever technical tricks and editing in this episode, as well as great cinematography. I think this is a very well-made episode, so credit to director Perry Lafferty. The acting by Ed Nelson, David Opatashu, not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not, I hope so, and Natalie Trundy is very good, and Natalie is also very easy to look at in this episode. So this one starts with a man named Philip Redfield, and he's a reporter. He basically gets lost. So he happens to find a town named Peaceful Valley. So he stops by for fuel and directions. In the meantime, Philip has a dog, and the dog notices a cat and jumps out of the car to chase the cat, and then strangely disappears. So it turns out that a child did this, and when Philip confronts the father of the child, the dog strangely turns up again. It seems somehow the people in this town could make things appear and disappear. So Philip goes looking for food at this point because he's also hungry and winds up at a hotel where he meets a woman named Ellen. And when she denies him a room, he is very suspicious, but Ellen is very secretive and won't give out much info. So at this point, Philip's just about had it. He tries to leave the town, but his car crashes into some kind of invisible force field, and he is hurt, and very sadly, his dog is a goner. So at this point, he has to go back into the town, not really having a choice. So he's taken to visit the town elders, and somehow they bring the dog back to life. So they chat, and eventually we find out about this town's advanced technology and how all this stuff with the dog has happened. It's all pretty interesting. So basically they keep this technology to themselves because they don't trust anyone else with it, and the debate between the elders and Philip is very interesting as we hear both sides of the story, as Philip thinks they should share this with everybody. So at this point, Philip is informed he can't leave town, so he either has to be executed or agree to stay in the town. So there's not really much of a choice. Philip, not having any other good option, reluctantly agrees to stay. So at this point, Philip is basically a prisoner. He has a pretty nice house and everything, but he can't leave because there's another one of those invisible force fields around it. Ellen comes to see him, and he definitely falls for Ellen, and it seems like she likes him too. And he tries to convince her that they are not really free and to leave with him. So Ellen helps Philip and frees him. Philip goes to get evidence of the technology, and when the elders catch him, he shoots them. So Philip leaves, but Ellen was just testing him, it turns out, and he failed the test. And there's also nothing in the book. It's like just blank pages. So the elders are still alive, again because of the technology, and they say Philip proved their point about the outside world, that they can't be trusted. So basically Philip is sent back outside the town with his dog and doesn't remember anything about the town, although seeing Ellen does seem to trigger a little something. And we also see Ellen one last time, and she's upset, and it seems like maybe she really did care about Philip after all. So much happens in this episode, and the Philip-Ellen relationship is sad and handled well. I did think the rest of the ending could have been better, though. The everything is reset to the beginning of the episode isn't great, but it doesn't ruin the episode for me because we, the viewer, got to see everything that happened, even if Philip doesn't really remember it and everything kind of starts over for him. So overall, I really like the debates in this episode, Valley of the Shadow. I think the whole episode is very well paced. There's just so much that happens, and it's just a very entertaining and thought-provoking episode, in my opinion, and that's why Valley of the Shadow comes in at number 60. As always, feel free to let me know if you like this episode, Valley of the Shadow, or not. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.